She was able to give a traditional birth.
I'm trying to remember the name, but I can.
Take a trip at the DMC. That'll be interesting.
Yes.
Well, it is time to get started. So we will go ahead and call our meeting to order. Start with the roll call.
Chairman Williams,
Here.
Member Perkins, Councilmember Noel. Here. Member Armstrong,
Here.
Member Patterson. Here. Mr. Chairman, you do have a quorum, all members are present.
Is the approval of the agenda, not a whole lot on it.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I wanted to ask if we could add the minutes of March 20th, 2025. So it'll be those minutes as well as the April 17th.
All right. So we have an amendment to the agenda approving the minutes both March 20th and April 17th. So anything else to add or remove from the agenda? We will entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Got a motion and a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Next is approval of the minutes. I guess we'll do those separately, so we'll go with the March 20th minutes first. So we will entertain a motion to approve the March 20th minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, second?
Second.
Got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And now the April 17th minutes. We'll entertain a motion for that.
Motion.
All right. Have a motion?
Second.
Got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
There are no citizens other than those of us on the board, so I think we can skip that one. Now, old business, review of amendments to the board bylaws. So we've got the draft in front of us. I personally only have 2 questions.
Okay.
And then I know my first question is on page 2, section 2.6.
Yes.
When a member is absent for more than 2 scheduled meetings with or without providing proper notice, we may make a recommendation to the board or to the mayor to remove them. Should we put a time frame? Is that within a calendar year or within their term on the board?
Yeah, we can. I left it more general, so that it allows a little bit more freedom of the board to do that, because it may be that I wasn't really thinking in terms of a time frame, but I would think that unexcused absences, typically, whenever they happen, because it might be that there's one unexcused absent, or they didn't provide notice in the first month, and 3 months later might occur. So, it would really be up to the board that they can decide.
I guess my only concern is if, we had a hostile board,
Yes.
someone might use that to, if you have someone that's what's the term again? Is it 3 years or 4 or 2?
I think you're 2. Or 3.
3.
You're 8, sorry.
You might have someone that's absent in 2025 and then they're absent again in 2026. Well, if whoever the chairperson is doesn't like that person, might
Sure.
try to get them removed. That's why I would think within a year, but.
Okay, because typically, let's see, so 30 days is usually where you start getting into semi-permanent. 6 months is start getting into permanent. So, this is just from, really from codes. I guess actually I was drawing it from floodplain and other codes where you start getting into permanent. So if we did it 6 months, would 6 months work? I mean, I can do a year too, like within the same calendar year.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking within the
Okay.
same calendar.
Okay. Okay.
And again, that doesn't necessarily mean that if someone misses 2, they will be removed. It just, that's when the board
Yes.
can request that they be removed.
Yes, and that's why I put in there that you may make that recommendation, so it allows, so it's not shall, you have to do it or
Yeah.
anything like that, because I want the board to have a lot more creative freedom than, I don't want it to impose upon that.
I do like that though.
The other question I had, it goes back to 2.3 at the top of that same page.
Yes.
The mayor may serve, but then it says the remaining members shall serve 3-year term. There we go, there's a term, or to respective, blah, blah, blah. If a sitting council member is appointed to the board, their term shall run a period of 2 years. I still, and maybe there was a reason, and I don't remember, I've slept since then. Is there a reason why? Because the way that's worded, the mayor and a council member could both serve. And so that means there would only be 3, since there's only 5 members on the board, that means there'd only be 3 representatives.
And I'm trying to remember if, and actually I think that's right, because I was thinking that it was drawn from the municipal, or
I
from
think
the
it is.
code, and actually in our zoning ordinance, it doesn't have it in there. So it's within the bylaws, so you can change it in the bylaws.
Yeah, I think that should be mayor or council member shall serve a 2-year term. The remaining members are 3-year terms.
5-year.
And the reason that that's a 2-year term is due to the election cycle. The mayor reappoints all the positions at the election cycle when the council members are up
Okay.
for elections.
All right, so, if you could just repeat how, or, the language part of it, so I can write my note in here.
So basically, the mayor of the city of Shelbyville or a
Oh, okay,
council member may serve as one of the 5 voting members
okay,
and shall serve a 2-year term on the board. And then from there on, let's see, there's another
yes,
line, if a sitting council member, that can actually be stricken.
yes.
And actually, I guess that last line, the board first appointed shall serve respectively for the following.
Terms for 1 year.
That's
Yeah, that's,
one, so you can cycle them off, not all at the same.
yeah, if you're changing out the
Yeah.
board, completely. The first
Starting
one,
over.
yeah, the first one,
I would probably make that, well, no, I guess it could stay in it.
yeah, it's rare that you would have a complete, well, I don't know. I don't
It
know.
has happened before.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Well, I haven't been here long enough to know if it's
But would
happened
this be
before.
if you took the board out of being a BCA board and then left it gone for a year or so and then started it back?
Well, I don't
or-
think you can.
No, but I'm saying, if, would that be what this?
But, so we all serve as the pleasure of the mayor, so technically the mayor could come in and say, hey, us 4 are gone, and
Oh, yeah,
appoint
that's
a
true.
different council member to you, or for you, but the other thing too is it only addresses 3, because it says 1 for 1 year, 1 for 2 years, and 1 for 3 years. So, I guess that,
Maybe put in there, change one of the ones, to remaining or something like that, the remaining members.
I think it should probably address if the board is reset or something like that, the terms will be divided between 1, 2, and 3-year terms for the member, or something along those lines.
Yeah, somehow so that it basically breaks up the,
It breaks up the cycle.
Yeah.
If it's ever reset, if the board should ever be reset, the appointed members shall serve respectively and have you know, 1 for 1 year, 2 for 2 years, and 2 for 3 years.
Yeah,
Because on most of my boards, when they have like made a board like that, and we had to stagger, we always put the lesser on the, like 1, so 1 for 1 year, 2 for 2 years, and 2 for 3 years. That way you keep your knowledge longer.
Yes, this was a remnant, because I was trying to find where the terms came in, because there in the zoning ordinance, there's references about the board makeup, and the terms was left blank. So that's why I placed it inside here for, so that there was something somewhere. And I think it might have been the leftover from the previous one. Okay.
and then there is a highlighted thing on page 3.
Yes.
We're gonna get Ginger's opinion on that one.
Yes. Just on that section of
On that section.
4.1. And then I did break up the absences due to emergencies because I was trying to fit everything into one section. It was just getting so cumbersome that it was easier to distinguish between types of absences. And then at the last meeting also, the board had asked about the conflicts of interest. So I basically used the Robert's rule, but there is also a section that might supersede it, and that's in the ethical part of it. That's why there's a disclosure requirement in there.
What was that again?
So section 4.4 where it says disclosure requirements, let's see, okay, actually in both 4.3 conflicts of interest and 4.4 disclosure requirements, in the municipal code title 1 is your ethics section that is applicable to all the board members as well. So that's why it's a little bit different for conflicts of interest. Part of it is from Robert's rule, but the other part is that taken from the Title 1, the ethics.
4.3 kind of contradicts itself. Because it says on the second sentence, or the second line, no member should vote on a question or case in which he or she has direct personal interest. But then the very last line says, however, no member can be compelled to refrain from voting.
Yeah, and that is directly from Robert's rules.
Okay.
And yeah, the way that it's written though, because there was an example within Robert's rule. It says that, that no member should vote on the question. And it gives an example, especially like with contract, it was a contract. And then at the end of it says, however, no member can be compelled to refrain from it.
I guess that's saying you should vote, but we can't say you can't vote.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's really what it boils down to, is that the board cannot tell somebody that they cannot vote. But in the code of ethics, it says, they may recuse themselves. Again, it's not a requirement of it.
Okay.
But I think most people actually do follow the ethics part of it because it makes sense. And then the disclosure requirement is directly from the ethics portion. And then I distinguish between voting and non-voting disclosures. Because if you're not voting on it,
go to page 5 at the top.
yes.
You need to swap 3 and 4.
Oh, okay, yes. That would be helpful. And I've never known where to put training hours, it's like, I'll put it at the top, so I figured, I would put it under other business.
One thing that I don't see in here, and I don't know if, because it's actually state mandated, I don't know if it should be in the bylaws, but since you mentioned training hours, should we put somewhere in there about board member training? And I wouldn't necessarily put a time frame because the state could change that and just put, board members are required to have annual training in compliance with TCA.
Yes, and actually my first draft of it, when I was typing it out, I had it in there, and I thought, let me put it in there, because maybe it's the trainings are
It's kind of
relevant.
redundant.
But we're referencing, there's some aspects of it that go back that are referencing or almost word for word to either the state or the zoning ordinance. So there's nothing wrong with reiterating it or restating it. So I can put that in section 1. Let's see, office of the board as a general information that there's certain amount of training or yes. Is there something in there?
Oh, right, there we go.
Oh, okay.
Well, then we don't.
Yeah, then. We're just making sure you're paying attention.
Good job.
Good job.
I am a big fan of 4.5, on page 4.
Yeah, that comes directly from the zoning ordinance.
Any other questions, comments, or anything like that? So I guess the next step is those changes, get it to Ginger for review,
Yes.
and then send it out to us just to review those couple of changes, and then I guess at our next meeting, we'd vote on it.
Yep.
And once we adopt it, since the bylaws are not part of the zoning ordinance, should we then have the city make them part of the zoning ordinance?
They're actually, I want to say that I believe there's already within the zoning ordinance, I've been working on updating the zoning ordinance, but I think it actually refers to the bylaws for, I'll double check, but I'm almost positive it does.
Anything else on the bylaws? Moving on to new business, there's none. Other business? There's none. We will entertain a motion to adjourn then. Got a motion, second? All in favor? We are adjourned.
All right.